this is easy number 10. Hopefully you're following along pretty easily now. When we get to the harder ones, I will be slowing down even more because I also need time to think. So, not a lot in the way of 9s. I'm going to skip it and go to the 8s. Oh, we got something here. We've got both columns and this row, so that's got to be that. Now both of those rows are out, so it's got to be one of those two. This cancels that row, this one that column, so we've got one of those two. I think that's all that's worth noting. This cancels both of those rows, this column, so that's got to be that one. And then both of these columns and this row, so there's that one. Both of these columns and this row, so that one. And both of these rows, both of these columns, make that one. On to the 6. Both of these columns are done, so we know it's got to be in that column, but we don't know which one. And nothing much more than that. The 5s, both of these columns are out, that row is out, so it's got to be there. And now both of those rows are out, so it's got to be one of those two. Nothing else yet. It's looking at the 4s. Oh, not a lot on the 4s either. What about 3s? Oh, that's better. Both of these columns, so there's one. Both of these columns, both of these rows, got to be that one. Both of these rows got to be one of those two. And both of those rows, so it's got to be one of those two. And the two, both of these columns, only one left. And this covers that column, that row, it's got to be that, which means that this has to at least be in this last column, but we don't know high or low. These two rows are taken, so this has got to be one of those two, and these two rows are taken, so it's got to be one of those two. That's all I'm going to note for now. The ones, this column is gone, this row is gone, so there we go. These two columns are now gone, so that's that. These two rows are gone, so it's got to be either this one or that one. And these two rows and this column are gone, so it's got to be one of those two. Now, this column and this row are gone, which means it's got to be one of those two, and now that is going to take that column, so that can no longer be there, must be there. Okay, now we go back to the 9s and see if we have enough information to make some decisions. We don't here, let's see, we can notate that it can't be there or here, so it's got to be one of those two. We can notate that it can't be there, so it's got to be in this column, which can be helpful. But that's about it on the 9s. The 8s, where are we at? Still not a ton of information on the 8s either, so keep it moving to the 6s. Okay, this 6 knocks out that entire row, so it's there. Then this knocks out that, this knocks out that, so that's there. We now know that this has to be either the high or the low in that middle one. We know that that row is knocked out, that row is knocked out, so this has to be where the 6 is. This row is knocked out, this row is knocked out, so this 6 has to be in this row, but it could be on either side. That's about it for the 6s. Looking at the 5s. Oh, look at this. We're going to skip the 5s for a second and go right back to it, but I see that there's just a 1 right there, so I could tell that that had to be where the 1 was. Now, by doing that, that means that that's the only place that the 2 is. Now when I go back to look at the 5s, look, that blocks that 5, there it is. This one has to be in this row, on either side. That blocks out that row, on either side. Now, because we say, oh, this one has to be on the right or left column, and this one has to be on the right or left column, then there's no 5 for the middle column until we get down here, so this has to be in that middle column. Additionally, the 2 side columns are already taken on this one, so this one has to be in one of those. So we're making good progress now. there's only one spot left for the 4 there. This wipes out that, that wipes out that, so this 4 has to be one of those two. This wipes out that, so there's the 4, and then that knocked out that one, so there's the 4. Those two columns are now taken, so there's the 4. This row and this column are taken, so the 4 has to be one of those two, and then we discover, oh, that knocks out that entire row, so that's the only one left. That has to be there. Now those two columns are taken, that row is taken, and there's that 4. 3s, those two rows are taken, this is the only left, which knocked out that one, making that one the only one left. The 2 can't be there. Yep. Can't be there. Yep. Can't be there. Yep. And so, can't be here, so there's the 1. Now it can't be there or there, so there we go. And to the 9s, last one. That knocks out that. That's knocked out there. There's our 9. This is the last one. Now that's knocked out and that's knocked out, so there's our 9. Now that's knocked out, so there's our 9. That is knocked out by that. That's there, so there's our 9. And now these two columns are gone, that row's gone, there's our 9. 8, gotta be there, because it can't be there. And it's gotta be here, because it can't be here. Now it can't be there, so it's gotta be there. Can't be here or here, so it's gotta be there. And can't be there, so it's gotta be there. 6, only one left, only one left, only one left, and can't be here because there. And then 5s for the remaining spots. There we go.